Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Strategic Command World War II, World at War. This is our Let's Play series playing as the Allies in this turn-based grand strategy and war game. And this is episode number 90 of our Let's Play series. In our last turn, we were consolidating our position in Japan, beginning the assault on Seoul, the final capital of Japan, while also dealing with a German blitzkrieg assault into India, which began it's been going on for a few turns, but the pressure is increasing in India so that Germany may very quickly break out and overrun the Allied forces in India. Meanwhile, on the continent, things are sort of continuing in a bit of a stalemate. We have invaded Norway, or landed in Norway, and overrun the Germans there, but we don't have much of a prospect of doing that in France, but we may try. And so that's where we're picking up things, hoping to finish off Japan, and also potentially considering or beginning to consider an invasion of France. With that being said, this was taken from a live stream on my Twitch channel from a week or two ago now, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to the live stream. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you guys at the end. Okay, so we are on to the next turn. Let's see what 1947 has in store for us. Chinese morale is boosted by the liberation of Nanjing. Chinese morale is boosted by the liberation of Tsingtao. Japanese morale suffers from the loss of both of those locales. We'll see how much. Nanning surrenders, so if there's any Japanese puppet armies that are part of that sort of local, I guess, Japanese colony, if you will, because they do get some forces to their name. We'll see if they surrender or if there's any impact there. Scooter, yes, I definitely plan to play War in the East 2 when it is released. Okay. So bad weather in Japan. It's snowing. I don't know if that hurts the attack at all. It obviously grounds aircraft, but Japan doesn't really have any aircraft on the home islands left, so not sure that matters. 5 turns left for the Axis. German destroyers going after our subs in Norway. After our motor torpedo. That battleship just nuked that motor torpedo boat in the channel. They're moving ships around, but I can't see where to. That headquarter unit, which we had almost kind of cut off, is now withdrawing in northern China. We'll see if they launch any counterattacks in Tokyo this turn or not. Yeah, Commissar Roach, War in the East 2 is coming out next year. They didn't say when exactly. They kind of hinted on the stream that it would be before June, because I made a joke about, making sense to release it on June 22nd, and they said, I think they said something about, like, was it April or March is the anniversary of the Battle of Kharkov, so it could be that too. So I think they're probably thinking more of, like, a spring, early Q2 type release, like April, May, somewhere in that time frame, but I could be wrong. I don't know anything, I'm just deducing that. I conquered Japan, now we'll never have Sony Walkman. I mean, the Allies occupied Japan after World War II, Banjax. Don't despair. Alright, they are counterattacking at Tokyo, but they're not accomplishing anything. 3 straight attacks on Tokyo. They didn't damage the unit there at all. By the way, that is the 101st Airborne that is defending Tokyo, so we've got the Screaming Eagles. Meanwhile, they tried to break out of Seoul driving south, and their attack failed, so that's good news for us. Defensive artillery, German armors trying to go after our aircraft. They do manage to destroy that unit, and then go after the headquarters unit there. So they are breaking out in the northern section of India. It seems like their attacks are not quite as devastating as they should be with as strong as they are, so I'm going to assume they're still having some supply problems. They have no cities around here, so even if they have headquarters, they're probably not drawing more than 5 in the headquarter unit and then 4 in the immediate adjacent, and then it falls off by 1 usually per hex after that. So their supply situation's probably pretty bad. Japan apparently... Yep, there's one of their headquarters units. Hey, Como1, thanks for the follow. Occupying is a strong word here. Well, I mean... It was at least U.S. administered after the war. I don't think you can argue with that. You can debate whether it should have been, I guess. All right, so I'm hopeful that Karachi held on. And then we've got another turn to race more reinforcements to India to delay the Germans. And it's another turn the Germans don't get back because, again, the... Oh, nice. So some of their units are actually suffering attrition. That means they've got 1 or 0 supply, I believe. Okay, so that's the turn. A little bit of a quieter turn in the channel. We have 4 turns left. Bunch of intelligence. Most of this stuff doesn't really matter, as far as I'm concerned. All right, the British get 3 new units this turn. The Americans get 3, actually more than 3, 4 units, and China gets 2. All right, so we'll hold here. Reinforce this headquarter unit. These guys have 3 shells. Nice. All right, let's operate these troops into the way of the German advance. They're just cannon fodder. They're there to draw German fire and to block German breakouts. Reinforce these troops. The Japanese are starting to make progress driving into sort of the hinterland of eastern Burma. So I'll have to continue holding there. Meanwhile, we've got this U.S. Corps is arriving. We'll put them ashore. Bombay, I guess. We've got another U.S. Corps coming ashore here in India. So 3 U.S. infantry corps arrive in India. They'll operate into the interior next turn. Seoul has 1 entrenchment. Its supplies are still full, which is kind of interesting to me. Bad weather, though, so no air attacks in Korea this turn. The readiness is what? 49 and 58. Yeah, we're not doing anything there. Oh, nice. We should... Well, the army can attack with 0 to 3. Shit. We're just gonna miss finishing them off, aren't we? Got him! That last unit there was the saving grace there, and we took Seoul. So we took the last Japanese capital. That should be another national morale blow for him as well. So their morale plummeted last turn. They lost 2 national morale centers last turn in China, which caused them to drop from about 20 to down to 11. So it was about 5% per location. This will be the loss of yet another capital. Their morale should be below 10. I wouldn't be surprised to see them surrender, just outright. We'll reinforce these armor units in China just in the event that the Japanese do survive. We may need them to counterattack near Tokyo. Reinforce that strategic bomber unit. I'm going to actually operate this air unit, the 41st Tactical, into India. I'm assuming, this may be a dangerous assumption, but I am assuming that that's going to be enough to cause Japan to surrender. The alternative is going for Singapore. But I can't really do that yet, I don't think. Drive inland from Tsingtao. All right, if the war goes on our side, I guess deploy these Chinese troops to the west. Maybe they can make it through the mountains. Not sure. Meanwhile, attack the garrison at Trondheim. Swap out with these mechanized troops. Have our headquarters unit lead the advance. Eisenhower at the front. Trondheim falls as we advance north in Norway. I mean, it's literally the entire world. Well, everything that Germany hasn't occupied anyway. Versus the Germans. Oops. Reinforce that air unit to full. I'm kind of tempted to try and launch an invasion of France now. I mean, it's probably foolish. The weather's not great. A lot of his armor's not there, that's true. The problem is if I move my battleships out of port, then the Germans will probably pounce on them and attack them. I'm okay with that mostly if they get stuck there and if the weather cooperates so that I can use my air power versus them. How far can these guys go? Out to like here. So they probably get just barely to the coast. Let's oh shoot, I can't. Let's move these guys here. Whoops. I need 2 turns to launch the invasion. I think with the Germans still have like a cruiser up here, don't they? Well, they've got a motor torpedo boat for sure up here. Didn't we like spot an enemy cruiser around here? Where did it go? All right, so we finished off that German destroyer. Bringing some of our carriers down here. All right, so we'll continue the advance north in Norway. I guess we'll... I don't know about advancing those heavy tanks there. I don't think they're going to do much. Let's throw these guys on long-range transports. So the British get 6 of them, but these should be relatively safe in the Irish Sea. Especially with our own Jeep carriers sort of blocking that direction. Throw these guys on long-range amphibious transports. These American Marines, or Rangers. No, they're Marines. We're getting a bunch of new American units, but they're not... I don't even feel like putting them on transports because they're not going to get there in time. Dino Woo, thank you very much for the follow. American motor torpedo boats will keep coming east. All right, let's actually send this U.S. heavy artillery unit to the Med to help India with. They'll arrive there probably in like a turn or so. The 2nd Marines will arrive in India tomorrow. So we're flooding India with troops. I'd say it's a big deal that Germany's being denied Norway's iron ore, but given they took Russia, that may not matter. You know, the one positive is that German air would be largely negated with an invasion at this time in this weather. Let's actually pull some of these warships back. I'm going to take a little bit of a gamble. We're going to throw these guys on transports. I'm assuming that since they are in port, the Germans won't actually attack them. These guys will throw here, won't they? Shit. Shit! Uh-oh. Well, they're a goner. I guess I could try and throw... They can't get into... They're in a non-exposed... They can't... Oh, no! Rupert Force! Well, rip to them. Let's put some of these troops in ports where they can... We'll bring the 82nd down here so it can prepare. So we'll have 3 airborne divisions. The 6th British, the 1st British, and then the UK, and the 82nd Airborne. Rupert Force Special Forces is going to die, unfortunately. Also, those paratroopers are only going to work in the event that the weather cooperates. I mean, I guess I can send a battleship down here and maybe distract the Germans with it. Maybe they'll go for the battleship instead. I don't like the idea of sacrificing a chunk of the Royal Navy for dubious benefits. So we'll have a destroyer at least screening them a little bit. Didn't we have another U.S. destroyer out here somewhere? No. Was there another British battle? Oh, this is the British battleship. Okay. The year is 1947. Swasage. You can see up here, January 24th, 1947. The AI is entirely controlling the access. Yours truly is controlling the Allied powers. Ooh, I'll do that. Cannon fodder. First Chilean garrison units get on transports and get in the way of Rupert Force. Oh man, this feels just like when I used a Brazilian garrison unit to take fire for an American unit. That's like peak colonialism right there. Hey, minor allied country, die for the majors. Oh, I feel bad. The game ends in early 46, Swasage. So it's almost over. There's 4 turns left. Okay. I think that does it for the turn. I just need to buy some stuff now. Actually, is there anything worth doing diplomatically? So I don't know that I'd want anyone to join our cause. Turkey would actually probably be a bad thing if they joined, just because they'd get rolled fast. There's probably not enough time left anyway to swing anybody to our side. But I don't know how it'll work in terms of victory points. I mean, I have this money that can't go into anything else. It's not worth spending on anything. Indochina, I guess we could invest there. French. Just see what we can do. So we have a 40% chance of swinging Indochina slightly to the Allied side. But now we can use Chinese diplomats. We can use Indian diplomats. So we have a 55% chance that this turn they will swing slightly to the Allied side. Whoops. Didn't want to do that either, but apparently I just did. So those carriers are exposed to enemy attack. How many warships do the Germans have? 18? I'm hoping some of them are over here. I deployed this sub here mainly to act as a tripwire. We'll see. All right, well, that's going to do it for the turn of January 24th, 1947. We did take Seoul. We potentially knocked Japan out of the war. We'll see what happens now that we're going to go ahead and end this turn. And as we move into sort of the final 3 turns, let's see. Japan's morale suffers from the loss of Seoul. Japan surrenders. All right, boys. Goodbye to Japan. Whoop! The USA plunders 2,200 MPPs. Allies liberate Brunei. Allies liberate Communist China. Allies liberate Hong Kong. Allies liberate Manchukuo. Allies liberate the Solomons. Foreign Minister reports diplomatic success in Indochina. It moves 5% toward the Allies. That's it? All right, well, good news. Japan surrenders. MacArthur accepts formal surrender on the USS Missouri. Chairman Mao inspires his forces ready to fight the Japanese. But the Japanese were defeated. That doesn't make sense to me. China moves the government to Langkao and then moves it forward to Chongqing. So China is liberated entirely. Huzzah! All right, so now we can move all the troops in eastern India and Burma that were facing off against the Japanese to the German threat in India as well. The Axis has 4 turns remaining. We'll see if the Blitzkrieg in India picks up steam now that they're getting in towards some of the rail lines. German destroyers just wiped out that Chilean garrison. Their motor torpedo boats tried to finish off, or I guess their destroyer tried to finish off our motor torpedo boats. So far they haven't gone for Rupert Force. Which means I can probably swing those guys back into Southampton this next turn. V-weapons hitting Portsmouth. I don't really want to go off half-cocked, but part of me says I should just land with what I can get ashore now. Alright, they'll probably retake Sicily here next turn. Meanwhile, they've broken out in the north along that rail line along the Indus River there. They can drive directly on Multan following that rail line. They've also broken the line near Jodhpur. Oh, they just swung into our rear near Ahmedabad. Goddamn tanks. I'm surprised they can move that much with almost no supply. I would have thought their supply situation is so poor that they wouldn't have been able to move that far. I get that it's blitz, but if you don't have fuel, you can't blitz with no fuel. Yeah, so I try not to be like, oh, the game is beating me because it's cheating, but there are times where it's kind of like, huh, that doesn't seem consistent. They've got bombers that are suffering attrition. Where? Oh, so now that Japan surrendered, that whole eastern portion of Russia is now what? Because Japan was given eastern Russia. Yugoslavian partisans rise up against the occupation. So what does that mean? 3 turns left. Does that mean Germany has to like reinvade eastern Russia? Or is eastern Russia like US? Like, who owns it now? But Germany's not at war against China, which is also interesting. It kind of closes down the northern flank that would have opened up otherwise. So, like, I guess this is technically Allied territory? Good job, Monty. Surround those jerks. Like, these guys have 1 supply. All right, let's do this. Okay. Okay, so we'll keep reinforcing India and hopefully delay the Germans as much as we can, just to mainly I think the important thing is making sure that they don't take Bombay or Calcutta. I think those are the key. The way the game works, I think those are the key cities to hold. Like in terms of when the game calculates victory. I've got to get these troops out of Burma and get them into India. I don't think I can get anybody anywhere quickly enough. I guess I can send these guys down to Rangoon so they can jump on transports, maybe, and then send them via sea. So we've got 2 German headquarters units here. Amphibious landing on Iran. I don't think I have any troops nearby to do that. All right, so let's see here. I mean, we can kind of start throwing American units on like long-range transports and try and get them over to India. That might be an option. They're not really going to arrive with enough time to turn the Germans back, though. They might arrive with enough time to save what's left of India, but they're not gonna arrive with time to actually accomplish much. This is an interesting unit, though. The 3rd Armored will have a strike, and it can do an amphibious landing, so they may be in good shape. It's kind of like I might even just leave most of those troops there doing nothing. Let's see here. So the weather is actually good over the channel. Let's do this. They're going to get shot apart, but that's the purpose. I'm trying to eat the enemy fighters. Poor British fighters. They're getting shot up pretty good. All right, so now let's move this carrier here. What, are they not? They're set to bombers, and they're not doing any damage to these units? How are they not doing any damage to these units? Is it because they have level... I don't even understand this. They should do something. Third Marines. Okay. Oh shit. Apparently, if you move naval units adjacent to an enemy ship, they get shot apart. If you move them into zone of control. Fuck! I did it again! Okay. Put these guys back. British armors ashore. How did they not land? God damn it. All right, so Brest is ours. We also have paratroopers here, right? So let's land... Paris is not going to be unoccupied, but it sure would be fun to just drop them in Paris. Okay. All right, I'm just trying to... Eisenhower advancing north. All right. These guys are already set to bombers. All right, that battleship is destroyed, so that's good. Pull them back. Drop these troops off to try and get them, whoops. Get them replenished a little bit. Long-range transport, long-range transport. Get these guys ashore next turn. Cherbourg is still Axis. Oops, I thought they'd be able to land on the same turn, but apparently not. Just trying to get as many troops killed as possible. Living up to the Butcher moniker. All right, let's destroy this German headquarters unit here. Maybe we'll destroy it with our airborne units. Nice. Meanwhile, these German troops, the 17th Army and the Brest coastal guns, will be cut off from supply by losing Brest. They don't have much armor here. It seems like you guys may be right. The vast majority of their armor may actually have already been sent... to Iran, or at least a lot of it. Maybe not all of it, but a lot of it. All right, so we destroyed that German headquarter unit, which will be good for supply advantages, although we haven't dropped our own unit in there. Motor torpedo boats to the rescue. Sending these guys across the channel. Hey, young thuggers, good to see ya. I got a couple of toeholds. Yeah, I've got this very narrow strip around Cherbourg, but not Cherbourg itself. Can we use up their shells by bombarding them? Doesn't seem like it. Alright, we'll throw these guys on transports. Okay. There's a bunch of ground units that are experienced. They're probably going to just crush us. But we'll see. I thought I took Cherbourg. I thought I had a unit there. Sending a bunch of British troops on transports, amphibious transports now. I just don't understand why my bombers can't hit enemy units in port. Like, that seems strange. Let's reinforce that battleship. Okay. What about does it there? Maybe the transports is the better route, because they can almost get to India in one go. But the amphibious, at least in theory, have the ability to land maybe in the Germans' rear. I think that is a good idea. One of you mentioned landing in the rear of the German army in India. If I had time to do it, it would make a lot of sense. I just don't think I have that time. China's not at war with Germany, so that doesn't matter. But Germany will likely want to advance east to try and take Vladivostok and these other locations. It'll take them a good deal of time, more time than they have left. Get Turkey to my side? I guess we've got the cash. Almost all of my diplomatic influence is invested in Indochina at the moment. I'd try and get some diplomatic chits back. I guess the money doesn't really matter. You only have so much influence to throw around. So I'd have to reclaim my influence from Indochina and swing it back over to Turkey, who's already 74% on the Allied side. The British have 4 diplomatic chits remaining still, so we'll go ahead and dump that into... and then Indochina, reclaim 1 chit. Send that over. India, where's your stuff going? Well, you don't have any money. China can try and influence Turkey, I think. They can. Okay, 75% chance that Turkey will move toward the Allies. Let's operate some of these air units into India as well. Okay. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for yet another episode of Strategic Command World War II, World at War. We're coming up to the final days of this series. There will probably be one more turn before the end of the war. This turn was our first this video was our first where we actually had 2 turns in a single video because things are getting a little bit shorter as we get close to the end. But we'll see how things play out and finish off in our next episode. Until our next episode, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.